My name is Mike Manfrey. I'm with my client, Joy Edwards. Joy started with me about 9 months ago, and she's been killing it ever since. She's crushing her program. Joy, kind of tell me about, intro to you and your background, um, and how we met.
Okay. Like you said, my name is Joy. I am a school teacher, and I have always kind of struggled with my weight. And I met Mike by stalking his page, actually. I followed someone who followed him, and I was watching her, and she had these great results. And I messaged her and I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Oh, I'm meeting with this guy." And so she gave me Mike's name. And then I started following him on Instagram. And I stalked you for a while.
Wow, wow.
Yeah. And I
I've
was
been
like,
told that a few times before someone
yeah,
signs up. They want to like make sure I'm legit, I guess. Or
right. Or yeah, I was like, okay. And so I watched and then I finally pulled the trigger.
love it. I love it. Yeah, you finally said, okay, this guy has been posting all his results of all of his clients. Maybe I'll give him a try.
Right. Yeah. It was pretty amazing. And
Yeah,
I love that you always have like super helpful tips. I was like, okay, yeah, I could do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
And so you finally found me, and you trust someone else that, I mean, I guess you didn't know her that well, but because she was
No.
also an influencer who was one of my clients. So you
Hmm.
didn't really know her, but at least you knew that, okay, if she trusts Mike with her body, then maybe he's worth it. He's worth a shot.
Yeah, totally.
Love that. I love that. Cool. So what made you really want to jump in? I know, seeing her results. But what was your really aha moment? What was your why to kind of start this journey with Evolve Culture?
My big why was um, at the end of the year, I got Teacher of the Year for my school. And
Congratulations. That's so amazing.
thank you. And someone sent me a picture of me receiving the award. And I was like, oh my gosh, who is that? And I knew it was something that I had been struggling with like through 2020. I knew I was putting on weight and it got out of control. And I saw the pictures and I just cried. I was like, who is that person? I don't want to be that person, because even more than just what I look like, I could see like I was sad.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like who I didn't feel like myself.
Sure.
And that was like my big motivator, like, okay, I have got to do something to change this. And so I messaged your other client and I said, okay, I'm ready to do this.
Yeah.
And so that was my big, I was just tired of feeling sick, and just always like scanning the room and seeing, oh my gosh, please make sure there's someone bigger than me in here.
Sure.
Like just always aware that I was the big one, and I was sad. I
Yeah.
was really sad.
I remember when I first met you, of how sad you were, and almost like, I don't know if embarrassed is the right word, but you were like,
Yeah.
how did I let myself get to this level?
Apologizing. Like, I'm sorry that I even have to come here. Like
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed.
Yeah. And it happens so slowly. People don't realize they wake up 10 years later and they're overweight, they're up 100
Yeah.
pounds. It happens so slowly, you don't really notice it. You
Yeah.
do, but you feel like, oh, Monday I'm going to start my diet, or,
Right.
2 days I'm going to start for sure. And it just never, that day never happens.
No.
And so, and when I first met you versus even now, that the transformation you've made, mentally, is just, it's just a different person. It really is. When we
Yes.
speak, when we're in my office, it's like a different person. It's so incredible to see.
Yeah.
And that's a huge motivation factor. A lot of people, when they come to hire me, it's because someone took a photo of them. Because most people, if they're overweight, they don't want to take photos of themselves. Like, I get it. And when someone actually takes a photo of them and they see it, like a family vacation or a school picture, it becomes real.
Yeah, it was a huge eye opener, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so, you hired me now. Now, what's been your results? How do you feel internally and externally? Kind of talk about what you've noticed so far in the last 9 months.
Man, it's huge. I more than just the weight loss. I mean, I'm almost at 60 pounds. My body is hovering. But more than the 60 pounds, like I'm happy. I'm excited every day to get up and like, yeah, I might slip up or I might do something like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. But I feel so good. My mindset is, I know that I can do it. And I know when I first walked into your office, I'm like, I'm going to fail. I'm not going to be able to do this. I fail every time I try. It's not even worth it. Um, and for me, like financially, hiring you was a huge leap of faith. It was
Or,
huge
yeah.
because I'm a school teacher and
Yeah.
and I'm like really stingy with my money. I think this was the biggest investment I've ever made on myself. Well, I know it is. It
Wow.
is like I was like, okay, you're worth this. And if I'm gonna put forth the money, I'm gonna put forth the effort and I'm
Yes.
gonna make a change. And yeah, so I've lost 60 pounds, but I've also like can walk into a restaurant and not worry about, oh my gosh, am I gonna fit behind that booth? And I can go to a jazz game and sit in a seat and not come home with bruises on my legs. Like, honestly, so many things have changed that I just want to keep going because I know I'm like, oh my gosh, I can get out there and I can play with my nieces and nephews and I can take a walk and not have to like stop halfway through. Like, my quality of life is so much better.
I
So
love
much.
hearing that. I remember the time you told me you sat into a normal booth, and
Yeah. I
so
text you. I was so excited.
yeah, yeah, it's the small things that people don't realize, that people take for granted.
Yeah.
So that's truly incredible. And the cool part about this whole process so far is we're not even close to being done.
I know.
Imagine another 60 pounds from now or 100 pounds, the differences you're going to see in life. The
Right. Yeah. I usually am dreading like spring and summer. And I'm like, yes, I'm excited. I want to get out there and I want to go play, like do whatever everybody else is doing instead of making up an excuse not to do it.
yeah, that's so amazing. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
And so that's where the weight loss, obviously, because you're down 60 pounds, you're able to sit in a booth and sit at a jazz game. But there's so many internal benefits of that as well because you're more happy than anything else. I mean, 60 pounds is cool, but if you were still miserable internally or weren't happy with yourself
Right.
because you were doing it the wrong way, it wouldn't be a long-term thing. It wouldn't be a lifestyle.
Totally.
So
Yeah. It needed to be a lifestyle. Yeah. Off medicine that I have been on, I like everything is so much better. I just feel, and I can feel like, I think I've told you, like the last time I ate something, I was like, when it was one of my cheat meals, I was like, oh, that was not even worth it. Like, why did I do that? And it's kind
that's
of
really cool.
crazy how I keep feeling that over and over. I'm like, nope, I just want to go back to what makes me feel good.
Yes. When you're eating bad every day, your body doesn't
Don't
recognize it.
realize it. Yeah,
Once you do that once a week or every other week, your body's like, why are you feeding me this crap?
yeah. And
So
I feel like garbage.
yes, yes. That's so cool. I love hearing that. And we're down 60 pounds, right? Which is really awesome. So again, imagine another 60 pounds from now. Who would you say that's watching right now that's on the fence of hiring a coach, who's on the fence of joining Evolve Culture? What would you say to that person?
Get off the fence. Get off the fence. Don't be a fence sitter. I wish I would have jumped off that fence a lot sooner
Yes.
because the first week, like people notice the difference and people are still noticing differences and I am noticing it, but I love it when someone's like, "Man, you have been so happy." Or I can see like you're making changes and it feels good. But I watched for so long, like because I didn't believe I could do it.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
when you go with Mike, you always like, even I love that you can always tell when I've had a bad day,
Yeah. Yeah. I know
or
you.
just that extra motivation of like, okay, like you've got to do this. What are we going to do better? What can we tweak? What can we fix? Or just the positives, like, man, you crushed it this week. You killed it. Those little things, you can't do that by yourself. You
Yeah.
have to have someone to motivate you, and you have to have someone to report like the good and the bad and make a plan.
Yeah.
So get off the fence.
I love that.
Trust
Accountability.
yourself and trust Mike.
Trust Mike. And by the way, are you eating carbs?
I am eating carbs.
Wow,
I'm
you're eating
losing weight.
carbs and
Eating
you're losing
carbs.
fat. That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
so rad. Yes, get off the fence. Joyce tells you to get off the fence. Don't wait around for so long.
Yep. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself because you can do it.
Self-doubt, you'd be surprised how many people have self-doubt, regardless of their weight, what they look like. Most people have self-doubt. And when they hire me, their first thing is I want to be more confident,
Yep.
right? It's down to confidence. So, and that necessarily doesn't mean there's not a number attached to that. Sometimes it's just self-confidence internally, not even a number attached to, if I said, hey, at a certain weight, you're going to be more confident. Maybe that's not going to match up, So it's just, you're looking forward to the summertime for the first time in a long time, right?
Forever, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and imagine next summer, 2024, when you're down another 60, 70 pounds. How amazing that's going to be.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yes, yes. We're just getting started. So I appreciate you, Joy. Is there anything else you want to add at all to anything, anyone that's watching?
Um, just do it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And
Yes.
Mike's awesome, and you can't ask for a better help. Can't ask for a better coach. He knows what he's talking about, and he becomes a good friend. So do it.
Friends for life.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Joy. Have a good day. And here's to another 60 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers.
Good. Okay. Cheers up.